What's up, Facebook Live? To be honest, I always get nervous when I do these things because I never really know what I'm going to be talking about. But today I'm going to be talking about little cash flow. Right here, this is an income and expense, also known as a P&L. And right down here, we have a balance sheet. It's the balance between your assets and your liabilities, right? And I learned this concept in Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. When I say I learned the concept, I knew about these different statements, but how he breaks it down in this simplistic fashion is what I'm about to show you. And it's really cool stuff. Now, I'm going to start off with how people usually make money and what happens. So let me actually start with a different color so that you can watch. So what happens is people, they have a job or some other sort of income, right? So that's J for job. So they make money for trading their time. So the money comes in here. But the problem is, with that money, they go out and they buy a liability. A liability may be something like a car or a big TV, right? So they buy these things, and it's a liability because there's a debt incurred with it. So think using your credit card or getting a car note, right? So your money comes in from your job, and then it goes to buy your liability, which then creates a monthly expense. So then what happens is because you have this liability, your income comes in, and now it goes into the expenses and goes out, right? Because the money went here. The liability created the expense, which then here's your flow. In, out, in, out. But then notice nothing is happening in the asset column. And you'll always have expenses because food is an expense, but now food isn't a liability, right? Because you're not buying food on credit. The credit card debt would be the liability, right? Not the food itself. And I guess often the car and the TV, same thing, right? But you're always going to have expenses, but a lot of times people only have this kind of thing going on. Income comes in, it pays the expenses, it goes right out, and income comes in, and it goes towards paying off or paying down the different debt that you have. Now, an alternative, and this is what I often like people to do, and I'll do it with a different color, is here's what's really cool, right? Now, this is no different. Same thing. Income comes in. Income is used to pay expenses. But we'll also do this. Income comes in, and now it's going to go into buying an asset. And so the question is, what is an asset? And a simple definition between what the two is, an asset puts money in your pocket and a liability takes money out of your pocket, right? So then if you're spending money from your income, and this could be a job as well, nothing wrong with that, right? You got your income from your job, it creates income, and then you use that income to buy an asset. What now happens is not only do you have your income from your job, but the asset itself is producing income. So now you have this stream, right? So now you have these two streams, and there's nothing wrong with buying the liabilities, right? But now you can buy the liabilities with the income stream from the asset and from your job. So then you can buy that. That's going to create an expense. You still have to pay that, but now look at your flow coming in. Your flow coming in is way bigger than that, right? And so let's try to diagram it a little bit more consistent. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So from your job, it's typically one source of income. Because you typically only have one job. But in this case, you still have one stream of income there. But in terms of your assets, you can own as many assets as you want. You can have 10 houses in here, and they all produce income, right? So now there's, 10 streams coming in from your assets and one stream coming in from your job. So then your income looks like that versus that, right? And that's the big difference. People sometimes want to get like a second job, but look, even if you got a second job, that's it. You got two streams. It's not great. It's not bad, but the problem is you trade your time for it. Your asset, notice, your asset here is an asset because it provides the income passively, where you don't actually have to work for it. And that's the nice thing. That's the big difference. So that's why becoming an investor is awesome. Now, houses aren't the only thing that produce passive income that can be considered an asset. Other things that produce passive income would be royalties from, say, a song or intellectual property if you created a patent. Also dividends from stocks, things like that, as long as it comes in passive. But the thing I like about real estate is you don't need a lot of money to get started, and you don't even need to be particularly skilled in the sense that if you can't sing, dance, or act, voila, right? Candy machines, absolutely. So James pointed out candy machines, vending machines, ATM machines, any kind of machine that you put there where somebody uses it and it does the work for you, that's passive too. That's pretty passive as well, right? The thing about what I was saying earlier with the royalties and IP, so you need to be a creator and go through the patent process, or you need to be really talented at singing or dancing or acting so that people will actually pay for whatever it is that you created. Because I can sing, but nobody would pay for that, right? Now, Frankie Votto just hopped on. Now he can rap, and his stuff may create passive income because that would be a royalty play. So his passive income, his asset would be his different songs and whatnot, as long as people pay him for that. Real estate, I like because it allows someone like me, who was not born with any innate skill in terms of singing, dancing, or performing, it allows me to create passive income. And because of the strategies that I know about that require very little money, very little credit, that allows me to get into the business without a lot of money myself. So it's a nice thing to do if you don't have those skills or if you don't have a bunch of money. So yeah, that's the name of the game here. Collect a lot of assets that increase your income so that you don't rely 100% on your job. Because one day, what might happen is that no job. And that's what they call retirement. And usually people get to retire because in here is Social Security, right? Social Security and your 401k distributions and things like that. People wait until they're old enough to collect from these things so that creates that. Well, you don't have to wait. You can buy the properties now. You can buy as many properties as you want right now as long as you know how to do it. So that's where the real estate education comes into play. That's where these videos come into play. If you're interested in learning more, come out to my seminar and come every single week because you're not going to get it on the first time. Have you learned anything by just sitting there one time? Not really, right? So real estate, it takes time to learn. It's not a get rich quick thing, not at all. And I hope you guys don't feel that way when I say like, oh, buy 10 houses. You can buy 10 houses, but it's going to take you a few months maybe to figure out actually how to do it. And it may actually take you a few years to acquire them all. It's not get rich quick, but neither is your job. But you do that anyway. So if you're going to spend the time at your job to create this income stream, or let's say this one, right? If you're going to spend this much time to create this income stream, wouldn't it be worth going to a seminar every single week to learn how to create this income stream instead? Because otherwise, what's the alternative? You just have this, where money comes in and it goes right out to pay your expenses. Money comes in and goes out. Money comes in, goes right out, because the liability created the expense right there. So liability creates the expense, income comes in, goes right out, paying for the liabilities that keep you stuck. They end up owning you. This is why I titled this ends up owning you. Whereas these assets, these things that you own over here, because they pay you on a passive schedule, you get to be free. And ultimately, that's the goal. You want to be free to share your gift with the world so that you don't have to rely on your gift to make money. If you're a singer or a dancer, the people need to see that, right? Allow them to see that, but maybe you don't have to charge for tickets. Maybe you can just perform because you're great. Maybe you like basketball, but you never got involved with the NBA. Maybe they didn't draft you, right? But you're really great at basketball and you love it. And you know what else you love? You love helping the kids. So maybe you have a basketball camp. And guess what? Because you have 10 assets producing income for you passively, you don't have to charge the parents for the basketball camp, and you can set up in a low income or underprivileged area and help out the kids who need it the most. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? That might be your gift to the world, but because you don't have the assets, you can't do it. But if you did have the assets, you get to share your gift with the world. Isn't that cool? At 5'8", I have no idea why I did not make the NBA. Yo, there are people shorter than you, Tim, that made the NBA, man. Don't blame your height. All right? Yeah, I don't know why you didn't make the NBA either. I would have supported you in your endeavors, but hey, now you get to go to underprivileged areas and set up a basketball camp for the kids who need the most help. And you don't have to charge the parents. Why? Because of the income. Tim, I know it was a joke. I know it was a joke. Obviously, I was going with the joke, right? Create the assets, create the passive income so that you can do what it is that you are put on this earth to do. So you don't have to worry about the income. So you don't have to worry about getting paid, right? You don't have to be making money from your passion. You can just go do your passion and make money elsewhere, all right? Hopefully that sticks and all that good stuff. All right, man, so yeah, collect more assets. Kyle, you hopped on late, but it's all good. So collect more assets, and you will be free to do what it is that you want. That's it. If you have to summarize this whole entire thing, collect more assets. I didn't say anything about liabilities. They're fine. I like my liabilities as well, right? But if you got no assets to pay for those liabilities, you know, you're not in good shape. Katie, I look forward to helping you get to where you're trying to go. So yeah, just keep on staying tuned. And for everybody else, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.